Born Before 64 is a TV show that asks the vital question, what will we do for the rest of our lives? Kathryn Raaker hosts a show for baby boomers and above, inviting real people to tell real stories about overcoming issues, about facing with courage and triumph the significant obstacles many of us face every day. Born Before 64 TV shows will cover topics that this generation is interested in. So let's join Kathryn Raaker for Born Before 64.
Hi, this is Kathryn Raaker of Born Before 64, and we're on location at Daddy and Company in Torrance, California. And I want to welcome to our station and our programming Robert Nickell and his father, James Nickell. And we're going to be doing a series of shows here in Torrance all about dads. And I think this is really exciting because we've never done this before. And you know, daddies are really important to all of us. They're our mentors, they're our friends. We have loads and loads of fun with them. And what could we have done without our dads? So I want to welcome you, Robert.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
And James, nice to meet you. I want to tell the story of how you all started. And I think we should start with your dad.
Sure.
Because he's the beginning, right?
He's definitely my starter.
You're a middle child, by the way, I found out.
I am, yes.
You're so creative.
I have every aspect of a middle child that could possibly be there.
But you know what's really funny? Your oldest is named Jeff. Is that true?
That's true.
And I have a Jeff.
Oh,
but he's a middle kid. How about that? Let me ask you, you are originally from Fairborn, Ohio?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell me how you started as a little boy? You were in Fairborn. And are you from a big family as well?
I had 3 older sisters.
So you're the only boy. Oh, wow.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately, it was that bad, right? Well, tell me, what was your dream career in Fairborn, Ohio? Tell us how you started.
Well, I got a job as they don't say soda jerk anymore, but we did then, at the soda fountain in the drugstore.
I remember that. Believe that.
Yeah. And I was happy. It was hard work, long hours and everything. And then as I got older, I moved over into the drug thing. And it seemed like a good thing. And I decided I wanted to own a drugstore someday. Because often I didn't like the way I was treated. I thought I'd get a drugstore and try to treat people correctly.
Really?
So that was my desire. And then I thought, well, if I'm going to own a drugstore, I ought to be a pharmacist. So that was my determination to go through school.
And how long did it take you? When was your first drugstore? Tell us about that.
The first drugstore?
No, how you became the pharmacist. You were how old when you went back to school? Or you went to school, right, to become a pharmacist?
Well, I was, I guess, 18 when I started. And then the Korea War broke out, so like I said, military was my heroes because I grew up outside of an Air Force base. Right. So immediately when I got my opportunity, I enlisted in the Army. Okay. Right. And I was gone for 3 years and came back and entered school again.
Right. And then did you have your family then? Did you get married and then had a family?
After I came back, I got connected with a girl I had known from high school. And by golly, she was a junior in college and unattached and seemed happy to see me. So during the summer when I came home, I asked her to marry me and she said yes. And first we were going to get married the next summer after she graduated, and then we talked some more, and she said, well, let's get married in January between semesters, because I was going to school in New Mexico and she was going to college in Ohio.
Oh, wow, that must have been hard.
Because you didn't have all of this ways to communicate those days.
Right.
So we talked some more, and this was in July, and she says, well, let's get married before school starts and I'll transfer to New Mexico.
She was motivated.
She was motivated?
Yeah, she was motivated.
That's right.
My dad's a good looking guy.
You were. Well, you get your looks from both your mom and dad, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So anyway, in 2 months we had a full-blown wedding going and got married and drove to Albuquerque, New Mexico and re-entered school. She had 1 year to go and I had 3.
Oh, wow. She was before you. Right.
Because she didn't go to the Army.
Yeah, she didn't go through the Army, right. So then when you went to work you finished pharmacy school, correct? And then you went to work as a pharmacist?
Yes.
And?
We moved, after graduation, we moved to Long Beach, California.
Oh, wow. Do you remember the Pike?
Oh, yeah. No, it was gone.
It was gone by the time you
Well,
got there?
Kind of out of service.
Really?
I never went there. I heard about it.
I did.
Okay.
Oh, roller coaster.
That roller coaster, they
Yeah.
say, was great. But no, we missed that part. But I got a job and worked for 3 years and learned more there in those 3 years than I did in college, I think, about actual family practice
Right,
and the neighborhood business.
right.
And then
And you
they-
know, did you feel like when you were in California that the people that would come to the pharmacist and ask him questions, or did they do that back then?
Oh, they did it more than ever then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was one of the things that I remember because I'm so allergic. I told Robert I'm so allergic to drugs that I always have to talk to the pharmacist first because of my allergies.
Mm-hmm.
And I always call them first or the doctor, I know. But that's true, you guys, that's what you trained to be.
That's right.
And if doctors didn't have you, they wouldn't know what to do, I think, sometimes. Am I right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Even today.
Yeah, even
Even
today.
today,
yes.
So then when did you start your first pharmacy and when did you start your family?
Well, unfortunately, or I guess fortunately anyway, our first son was born before I graduated. He
Okay.
was born in March and I wasn't going to graduate till June.
Uh-huh.
And we had a really tight budget, all planned out, you know, everything was
Right.
programmed.
Right,
And that kind of messed it up.
right. But you know, I think those were the good days in a sense because you make do with what you have. Am I right?
And the Lord was with us, He helped us.
That's
you know,
right. What would you do
whatever.
without that?
That's right.
I
Everything
know,
came
we had
together.
the same kind of situation, James. I mean, I got pregnant right after Dawn and I got married, and we had 2 boys.
Mhm.
So that first Christmas was kind of bleak, right? You kind of make things and do all kinds of stuff, right?
We get by.
You get by. Right, so then you had Jeff. Then you finished pharmacy school. Then what happened?
Let's see, Jeff, now I'm 57 and you're 59. We started to move back to Ohio, which we were both from Fairborn.
Right.
And she said, my wife said, I've never been to California. So we said, well, let's go out and live a couple years, and then we moved back to Ohio.
And that didn't happen then,
You know
did
how
it?
that works out.
Yeah. Well, once you get to California, you never want to leave, right? Right. And then when did you have this sweet one right here?
April of 1959.
Yep.
So,
2
what was
years.
April 19th? Or no? What
April 26th.
April 26th, okay.
1959. They were all
And
2
he-
years apart.
And he was a wild one?
Hmm?
Was he creative and wild or what? What was
He
he
was
like?
always fun.
Was always fun kind of kid, right?
He got in trouble a time or two, you know.
Well, he's like my middle
I
child.
pushed the envelope.
You push
Yeah,
the
Push the
envelope.
envelope, yes. Push the envelope.
But you know, those are the kind of creative people that you want to be, right?
Absolutely.
So now let me ask this question. So did you follow him? Now, when did you buy your pharmacy? When did you have your first pharmacy then?
Well, I went to work in Norwalk for this guy who was offered opportunity,
Uh-huh.
and it didn't work out. So I was there. I went there in 1960, and by 1966, I realized it wasn't going to be the way I had hoped. And I asked him. He had another store in Orange County by then,
Right.
and I says, you know, let me buy this store, or just let me quit and go on, and I'll find something else.
Right.
And the Lord blessed us, and He let us buy it.
Oh, wow. So that was pretty special,
That was
right?
very special. That was in 1966.
Now, you were born in what year again?
1959.
59. So you were in the pharmacy. Did he come to the store a lot, and was he right there on your coattails?
I was there all the time.
Were you?
Yeah. Or I felt like I was there all the time.
Yeah.
And so he really kind of, you mentored him into the pharmaceutical world.
They all three had equal opportunity.
Yeah.
They all had to take their turns.
Right.
Right.
We did everything from scraping gum off the sidewalks to sweeping the floors to dusting the shelves to, you know, eventually ringing the cash register and
Didn't you love that?
running the circulars. And I loved the cash register. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be behind the cash register and people would come up and they'd be like, Where's the checker? I'm a checker. I can ring that register like nobody else.
Right. Was it an old-fashioned one?
Well, it wasn't then.
Oh, then. Okay, I
It
forget.
was pretty modern.
Yeah, I know. But it was pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
So then when did you decide that you wanted to emulate your dad and become a pharmacist? When did that happen, Robert?
Well, I I have a paper that I wrote in 3rd grade that said I want to be a pharmacist like my dad.
3rd grade?
Right. But when did I actually decide? Probably in high school. Because in high school, we had a great life. My mom and dad raised us well. We had a good life. We lived well. We went skiing. We played tennis. We had a nice house. We did everything that was great. And I thought, sounds good to me. And besides that, I worked with him all the time, and everybody loved him. Everybody's coming in and and talking to him. And he took care of people all the time, and it was business at the same time, which is the part I just really love. And so that's how it went.
And he's just got that sweet face. You wanna hug him. He's that kind of guy. It's funny because there was a pharmacy in Ohio called Wolf's, and my uncles and a lot of my relatives were doctors. And I didn't really like my uncle that much because I kept thinking about him. He was going to give me a shot all the time. So but the pharmacist was the sweetest guy I can remember, and we used to have the little. The drugstore where you could go, the soda fountain and all that kind of cool stuff. I remember all that. On that note, we need to take a short break on Kathryn Raaker's Born Before 64. You want to give your website out, Mr. Nickell?
Yes.
Go ahead.
daddyandcompany.com. That's the place to go for all things dad-centric.
And we'll be right back on Born Before 64 after these messages.